Hey 8th graders! So today we are going to talk about equations of parallel lines. So parallel means that they are never going to touch. They're not going to intercept each other. So if you were to look at both these lines, one thing that you would know is that they have the exact same slope. Okay? And so one really cool thing is about parallel lines is that they have the exact same slope. And that's just one thing that we know about parallel lines. So by finding the slopes of parallel lines shown to the right, we discover a simple concept. So I'm going to actually do this over here and just kind of show you. So if I were going to go from there to there, I'd go up 1 over 2. And then the same thing here, here to here, up 1 over 2. They both have a slope of 1/2, okay? And so when we are working with parallel lines, we know that parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so we are going to solve each problem algebraically. Write the equation of a line that is parallel to the line y equals 2x minus 4 and that contains this point. Okay, so what we know is we know that it's going to be parallel to this line. So what is the slope of this line? 2. So parallel is going to have the same slope. And we know the point that it goes through. So we can use our point slope form. And we can find the equation of the line. Here's our point, here's our slope. I'm going to go here. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 1. And you're going to go ahead and distribute the 2. Y minus 3 equals 2x minus 2. And then you're going to add 3 to the other side. Y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, and so if you were going to go to the graph, you could put your on 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and there is your line. My packet. This makes it kind of hard for me to graph this. Okay. So are they parallel? Yes. Does it go through the point 1, 3? Yes. What's the equation? Y equals 2x plus 1. So you've technically been finding the equation, knowing a slope and a point. So what we're really doing is just combining what you know about parallel lines now. So it says write the equation of a line that's parallel to this and contains the point -3, -2. Okay, so they're trying to trick you only because this is out of order. So your slope is still the coefficient in front of the x. If I rearrange this, my slope is still -1/3. Okay, so I've got my slope and I've got my point. You take your equation. So I'm going to have y minus y1, so it's actually plus 2, equals -1/3 times x minus a -3, which turns to a +3. Oh, this is 1/3. I wrote 1/2. And then we're going to distribute to both things there. Y plus 2 equals -1/3 x. 1/3 of 3 is just 1. Minus 2. Minus 2, y equals -1/3 x minus 3. So let's check our graph here. I go to -3, 1, 2, 3. My slope is down 1 over 3 or up 1 over 3. I think you guys can see that it is going to go through our point and it's going to have the same slope. Parallel goes through our point, our equation's y equals negative 1/3 x minus 3. Okay. A few more on the other side. Ugh. So sometimes the equation is not in point-slope form or slope-intercept form, so it's harder to pick out the slope, but you just get y by itself. So first I'm going to move the 3x to the other side. So I would end up with 2y equals negative 3x plus 6 divided by 2. Remember, we divide everything by 2. Y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. Now, that's not the equation of our line that goes through this point. That's just this line, that equation redone. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the slope. We want the slope. And this point. And that's what you're going to use. So I take y plus 2, because it's a negative 2, equals the slope of negative 3/2 x minus 2. Okay, so y plus 2 equals negative 3/2 x plus, and I know this would end up being 6/2, which gives me 3. Minus the 2 from both sides. Y equals negative 3/2 x plus 1. Okay, so I start at plus 1, go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2, and right on my point, so I can see that I graphed it correctly. I did my equation correctly. Is it parallel? Does it go through there? Yes. Okay. Again, y needs to get by itself in order for you to know the slope. So I'm going to move that 4x to the other side. So I get negative 4y equals negative 4x plus 10 divided by negative 4. And some of you might be like, oh, we're not going to get a very nice intercept, but guess what? It doesn't really matter. This would be 2.5. Okay, because we don't need to know the intercept for this line. We need to know the intercept for this line. So again, here's your slope is that 1. Your point is up here. So you're going to have y minus 1 equals 1 times x plus 3. Distribute this. Y minus 1 equals 1x plus 3. Add the 1 to both sides. Y equals 1x plus 4. Okay, go to your graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do my dots. My line looks parallel, they're never going to touch, goes through the points, we're good. So my equation was y equals 1x plus 4. Okay, last couple little problems here. We have a pretty short session of notes today. It says, let's use the graphs provided to solve the next two, then we'll notice some shortcuts. Write the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 3. So this is y equals 3, that blue line, and contains the point 1, negative 2. So if it's going to go through this point, guess what? I'm just going to graph it. Well, what's the equation of a horizontal line? It's just it crosses the axis on y equals negative 2. Okay? And the same thing here, it's got to be parallel to this vertical line. So it's going to cross my x-axis. So it's going to be x equals negative 3 from right there. So if we know that it's a special case like this, we can really quickly just write the equation. So if it was an x, it's still going to be an x. It's just going to be this. If it was a y, it's still going to be a y. Same thing here, parallel. If it was a y, it's still a y. And you just take that y coordinate there, and then the last one here, if it was an x, it still is an x. Okay, so your guys' homework is just the next page, front and back of this one. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope you guys are doing great.